Hi class. Today we're going to be doing a short lecture on chapter 7, which is all about team dynamics. Teams are used at many industries, and one example of a good use of teams is at Whole Foods markets, who employ using these teams as self-directed teams, and these teams are made up of employees who are responsible for a particular area. They work together to create that area to be the best possible area for the store, and these teams have considerable autonomy. They are allowed to operate and make decisions about their particular store section to make it the best possible section they can for their customers. What are teams? Are teams the same things as groups? Actually, all teams are groups, but not all groups are teams. Groups are two or more people. They exist to fulfill a mutual purpose, but they're interdependent. Teams act together and they are mutually accountable for achieving the common goals. So all the members of the team are responsible for a certain goal collectively as a team. And sometimes they perceive themselves as a social entity because they're working together in a group, in a team setting. So let's look at the differences between groups versus teams. All teams are groups. Some groups are just people assembled together. They might be working towards a common goal, but they could be doing this as individuals. For example, a police force. The police members go out on their own to patrol certain areas. They all have a common goal of ensuring safety and security, but they're working dependently. Teams have task interdependence, whereas some groups do not. For example, a group of employees enjoying lunch together. There are many, many types of teams. So let's talk about some of these different types of teams. Departmental teams are where you have employees having complementary skills located in the same functional structure together. Usually they have minimal task interdependence because each person is working with employees in other departments. In production service leadership teams, you have multi-skilled employees with diverse competencies, and the team members collectively produce a common product, service, or make ongoing decisions. Self-directed work teams are similar to production service teams, except they produce an entire product or a subassembly that has low interdependence with another work unit. They usually have high autonomy, no supervisors, and usually control all their inputs, flow, and outputs. This is what we were talking about with Whole Foods. Advisory teams include committees, councils, work councils, and review panels, and they provide recommendations to decision makers. So they don't actually make the decision, they just advise them. Skunk works is not referring to the animal, but multi-skilled entities that are usually located far away from the organization and relatively free of the hierarchy. Thus the term skunk, you want to keep them far away from you. Often initiated by an entrepreneurial team leader who borrows people and resources to create a product or develop a service. Sorry about that. Virtual teams are teams whose members operate across space-time and boundaries, and they're linked through information technologies to achieve tasks. So, for instance, for our online class, we could have a virtual team who interact through our technology of D2L. Communities of practice, the purpose is to share information. They're bound together by some expertise and passion for a particular activity or interest. So why do informal groups exist? Well, there's an innate drive to bond. Social identity, sometimes we define ourselves with group memberships, like if you're part of a group. I just joined our Clemson alumni group out here in Denver. Goal accomplishment, where you're all working towards this common goal, or emotional support. If you think of groups who form together to support each other through a crisis and gain emotional support from the other members. Advantages of teams compared with individuals, because teams collectively tend to make better decisions. You've got a multitude of people to provide inputs. You often get better products and services due to more knowledge and expertise. One person might have a certain skill as part of the team and another one, and combining these together, you get increased knowledge and expertise. Also, if you're part of a team, you're going to feel more engaged rather than just working on your own. The trouble with teams, though, sometimes individuals are better and faster on certain tasks alone. The cost of developing and maintaining teams can sometimes produce losses. Brooks' Law is more delays when adding members to a team already behind schedule. And social loafing occurs when individuals exert less effort because they work in groups than alone. You might have seen this before on team projects in certain other classes where you felt like one person didn't contribute because they're just kind of relying on the rest of the team members to do their work for them. How to minimize that? Make individual performance more visible, form smaller teams, assign each team member specific task, and then also by measuring individual performance. Teams can also increase employee motivation. It can be increased through job enrichment and select motivated employees as part of these teams. So I'm going to stop here for now and just let you look at the rest of Chapter 7 as we go through and finish this chapter out.